What do you think?
Feels great. I mean, it's like sitting in a couch.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's there's cushion. I'm wanting to knock out all the.
What's up, guys? I feel like I'm living through Groundhog Day. Like last Thursday, we took a road trip down to Gainesville, Texas in my Chevelle to go look at a Blazer body. Well, still thinking about what I'm doing. I just, trying to figure out what I want to do with that one Blazer. Well, like most of us do, man, I sit down and I was like, hey, I'm not doing anything else right now. I got the Monte Carlo. I'm ready to work on the Scout. I got a few things I got to do before then, And we got another thing I'm going to help Matt work on here pretty quick. But you guys will see what that is. We got to knock it out. But, so I took a shower, got ready for bed, and I was like, man, I don't know. I'm going to sit down and look at my phone. Well, usually during the week, I don't really look at my phone very much. And I sat down on the couch, and I pulled open Facebook, and I didn't even go to Marketplace. I'm part of those, deals for El Caminos and Camaros and Blazers and stuff. Well, I'm just going to tell you it's a Camaro. I pulled it up and I saw, I believe, what I've been looking for a while, because you're just going to see here in a little bit. But I'm on my way now to Roanoke, Texas, down by the Texas Motor Speedway. And this car's sitting in a garage that ran in 20 years. It's wearing most of its original paint, clean, the motor's bad in it, and crazily, they told me the story was probably about 20-some years ago. One of the family members of the guy they got it from was in Tulsa, and they ran this thing out of oil and killed the motor. Well, then these people got it, and they've had it for, 10 or so years, and they're not going to do anything with it, but it's just prime for what I like to do. So we got about 4.5 hours. We're going to pick my grandpa up. I just told him to put his shoes on and be ready. He don't know where we're going. But I got the truck, I got the trailer, I got a pocket full of cash. Let's hit the road. All right, so this is what I came all the way here for.
What do you think, sir? You think it's a good buy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
1981 Z28.
We think some of the curves too rough.
Yeah. Oh, it's not rough, but it's not perfect.
I think it's going to work really well for what I want. Man. And you said it's been here most of all of its life, right?
It's been sitting in this garage right here in that spot for the past 10 years.
Holy moly.
And it was sitting in my buddy's garage for 8 years before that.
Wow.
So in 18 years, it's been out of the elements.
Holy moly. That is awesome.
And I believe the last time it was registered.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's about how I felt about it when I first looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this has some really good bones.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, this is a nice car.
Sandy's dog would not go out in the rain. She was dragging him.
Man.
She's not going to kick him out.
What's up, guys? I am so happy, man. I'm soaking wet all the way down to my underwear. It has not eased up on us one bit with the rain. But I have to say, this is probably the nicest, cleanest 78 through 81 Z28 that I've got my hands on, man. I am so stoked to have this car. And I will thank you to the people that sold it to me. Yeah, this is definitely a keeper. This is exactly what I've been looking for. But yeah, this car is nice. I mean, it's clean. sad that all the barn dust is going to be washed off of it, but it's going to get a nasty ride home. But my goodness, this car is sharp, man. I'd open the door and show you guys, but it's raining. It's getting ready to start raining some more, so I'm going to get in the car, get under this awning here. My gosh, dude. Yeah, this rain is easing up on us, so I'm going to sit in the truck. So good morning, guys. Made it home last night, about 11 o'clock. It rained unbelievably hard all the way, like all the way from Fort Worth to Tulsa. It just poured rain and everything. So let me show you, give you a better idea now that this is out away from the rain. I was wanting to do some videoing of a thing rolling out of the garage, but it was just literally a straight downpour. And in that place where the car was, there's a school around the corner, and school was letting out. And the cars were just, it was too dangerous. It wasn't safe to really waste time making videos of all that stuff. So we just really needed to load it up and, you know, start making our way home. But now the sky looks pretty good. It's a little chilly out here for my taste, but we're going to look this thing over. My new 1981 Camaro Z28. So what I've found is a 1981 Camaro Z28. This family has had this car, I'd say the last 10 years. And then the guy he got it from had it for about 8 to 10 years before that. I heard, he was telling me that he thinks the previous owner before him maybe ran it out of oil or something. But I'm really starting to wonder, there's something wrong with it because there's a reason why it was parked. But I'm going to do some investigation. And he started actually disassembling it. The hood was off, the hood hinges, the radiator, basically all the dress on the engine was off of it. So in the gas tank, they've also removed that and everything, which is fine. It's kind of stuff that needs to be swapped out and everything. But as you can see, this is probably the best car I've gotten my hands on in a long time. Usually all the stuff I get's pretty rusty, pretty cruddy. I usually scrape the bottom of the barrel on that stuff, but and I like working on cars. But as far as being a super nice car, this is probably the nicest one, original, I've had. Now my 78 that I had when I was in high school, it was about this shape. It was probably a little bit nicer, but I got into that drag racing thing and completely destroyed it, trying to go fast, you know, and it was really ignorant on my part, because these are super, super cool cars. But yeah, not too bad. This one, 80 and 81, they had these vent scoops right here. They had this air induction hood that when you floor it, these flaps here will open up. And this has all the correct air cleaner and the seals and stuff, which is very, very hard to find. The doors on this car, now I will tell you, it's got a little ding right here in this fender. And then also he was saying, you can tell, it has had some damage on this side of the car. It's got a little Bondo in that spot, but I mean, come on, dude. This car's like 42, 43 years old, and usually all these cars get a little banged up. But look at this door, watch. Just perfect, absolutely no sagging in it. Now this interior was clean, but we ran through so much rain last night that the floor is a little wet from the edges up here. These really have never sealed all that well. And so, yeah, it got a little bit wet inside. But on this car is when they first, kind of like the Monte Carlo I was showing you, they started putting a lot of electronics in it and stuff, which we will be eradicating that stuff. We won't be using that. But yeah, and then 1980 and 81, 78 and 79 had the 130 mile an hour speedometer. 80, 81 had the 85. But the seats, I mean, this is snapped and kind of messed up, which is typical. But I love looking over that hood and seeing that bulge on the hood. But the headliner's nice, the back seats. I mean, this thing, a good cleaning will do this thing justice. And another really odd thing about this car, which I've hardly seen, is these things right here are still intact for the seat belts. Usually these are broken off because people will slide back and forth, getting in and out of the car. But yeah, this thing is in fantastic shape. Like, it's going to clean up really nice. Oddly enough, it's got an Oldsmobile wheel on it, which is almost the same body color as this car, which that's not factory, that's like to a Cutlass. But here's the original wheels. And I only thought these were on 78 and 79s. I didn't know they used them all the way to 81. But the other match wheel is in the trunk, which the trunk is just perfect in this car. Let's raise the hood on this thing. All right. So here's the underhood shot. I think he was doing some woodwork with the hood off and it got a little sawdust up in here. But yeah, I don't know really what's wrong with this engine at all. I slid the distributor back down in there. But all intact car. I can't even believe this stuff is still on the bottom of the hood. So yeah, basically for the last 20 years, this car has been garage kept out of the weather until I got it yesterday. And it's probably had more water than it's ever gonna have just doused on it, which is a total bummer. But yeah, I think I gotta figure out what I'm gonna jostle around in the garage to get this thing in there. Because I need to get the windows down and start drying it out a little bit. And I'm guessing I'm gonna try to see if this motor turns over, and I might see if I can try to fire this motor up, even if it knocks or bangs or whatever. We ought to find out if it'll run. And then I'll put a battery in it and see if we can get some lights to burn. But yeah, I am so thankful to have got. But yeah, I think another thing I'm gonna do too is on these shackles, because the car's sitting up real high in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and lower these down. And I think it's got some of the factory shackles that are in there. Let's get this thing sitting down in the back like it's supposed to be doing. I'd like to do that. So I think the first order of business is get it in the garage and try to dry it out, because like I said, it got wet on the inside from that just like monsoon that we went through. And then I'm gonna see if the motor, you know, turns over, put a battery in it, and then I'm gonna drop those shackles down and get the rear of the car sitting down like it's supposed to be. That was like a 70s thing where they put big old N50s on the back or something. We're not doing that. So, but yeah, super stoked. I love this car. Brakes bled. I can get back on that Tuesday. But we're gonna put the Camaro in here because this weekend my wife's gonna take and clean the whole interior, and we're gonna put a fan on it and try to dry it out. And then after I get the wheel cylinders on the Blazer and everything, I'll be pretty much done with that, so we can start driving that. But then I'm gonna start investigating this Camaro and see why it doesn't run and what I'm gonna need, because I'm really pretty sure this might be easy to get on the road. The brakes still work. Like I said, this is way easy. And then I hate to do this, but I think the Scout is gonna go back to my grandpa's, because I tried to get a hold of anything Scout to get the floorboards and the bed floor, and I couldn't get a hold of them. Well, I made the online order, and I'm fine with what it costs. I think it was like $500 for the bed floor and $250 for the floor pans, which is fine. What I'm not fine with is $750 to ship it, and they're only 500 miles away from me. So I think for right now, I'm just going to move that over there and put it up. It'll still be out of the weather, and we're going to work on this Camaro, and then we got to go to Louisiana in a couple weeks during spring break, and then after that, I'm thinking I'm going to drive to Iowa, and I'm just going to pick the parts up. I'm going to make sure they have them on hand first. But there's a few other things I need for the Scout too. Like, it's missing these two pieces of trim on the side. It's missing on the front fender and the back. And I kind of want that, and I still need a rear drive shaft for the Dana 20 and the 727. So I think I'm just going to make a road trip up there. I'll just take off in the Yukon, sleep at a truck stop, and the next day get my parts, and then I'll drive back. And then when I get tired, I'll just sleep in the Yukon. Like, it'll all fit in the back of the Yukon. And it'll cost me like $200 to drive up there in gas. Like, 200 is a lot better than 750. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm not going to pay $800 to ship something when I can do it in 2 days, you know? And it'll be fun. I haven't been to Iowa. The furthest north I've been is St. Louis, Missouri. Kansas City, that's the furthest north that I've been. So I'm getting to see new territory. So yeah, we're going to move the Blazer out, Scout out, load it up, go back to my grandpa's. And then that way I can put the blue car back over here. I guess I got two blue cars. Put the Chevelle over here because I don't ever leave it sitting outside. And then we're going to get this Camaro over here in this bay. And then Tuesday when I get back, I'll get back the Blazer in and get it going. But this weekend, hopefully the interior will be all cleaned up and that thing will be dried out from the wetness. Otherwise, I'd just not worry about it right now. But this thing's been put up for 20 years inside. I'm not going to start today by leaving it out and let it get all soggy and nasty. So let's get these cars moved around and get this thing in. All right, we got this beauty unloaded. Man, you can tell how high that rear end sits. That's not gonna work. So we're gonna have to lower the back, but let's get this thing on the dollies and we'll get it scooted over here all the way and get it prepped and ready to start cleaning. Man, I'm so happy with this car. This thing is so cool. But yeah, it's bothered me. I got to get that Oldsmobile wheel off of it. And you can see in the trunk, I have the factory air cleaner, but I also have, I'm going to empty it out. I have the correct wheel, but I'm wondering why it's not on there. Is it maybe bent? I don't know. Seems okay. It's rolling over the weights just fine. We're gonna put all of our parts to here out of the way. But yeah, here's another thing that's really neat is this factory air cleaner that goes to the hood with the seal undamaged. Like, holy crack-a-moly, man. Yeah, even the trunk's wet. Like, gosh dang it. Springtime weather. Let's get the dollies on it. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to put this back on. The previous owner was attempting to do a restoration to get started on it, so he took some things apart here and there. So I'm going to put this front spoiler, which usually these are always broken and knocked off. I'm going to put that back on and get this fender fastened back up, and we'll try to, just first things first. And then I think my next thing is I'm going to take that wheel off and put the factory one back on. So yeah, first glance, first feelings, what do you think?
Feels great. I mean, it's like sitting in a couch.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's, there's cushion. I'm wanting to knock out all the stuff still there. It's crazy. I gotta look at this.
So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this car, man.
I can't blame it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
Air
your.
conditioning there. Wow.
So Connor approves. Yeah, I hadn't even looked in there yet. Oh my God, is that an owner's manual?
I think so.
Holy crap, dude. That is
That's
fantastic.
Oh my
I wonder
god.
if there's any records in there. No, just the book. Holy crap, dude. Just like perfect. This thing's gonna clean up nice, man.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean,
Yeah, that's usually broken. Another thing that's really rare on these cars is these seatbelt pieces with people going in and out of the back. These always are broken off. So this is like the first one I've ever had that those weren't broken off, and I'll probably break them off. Well, I bet Ruby will take that sucker right off the second time she rides in it.
What's
But
gonna happen?
it's gonna happen. It's a car. Who cares? It's the memories is what I care about.
The important stuff there. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, pretty sharp little car, man.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. Look at that.
Yeah. Quite shut all the way. Yeah, it's pretty sharp, man. I like it. They've started taking the engine apart, so something's wrong with it. But I think what I'm gonna do is put the starter back on and retime it and stuff because the distributor has been removed. And this has the same electronic controls like that Monte Carlo had, which I've got an extra distributor that's got a vacuum advance. I'll put it on there and try to see if I can get it to turn or try to actually figure out what was wrong with it. But if this had a 4-speed in it, it'd be a 305, but this should be a 350 with an automatic. So, but man, now Matt and his dad need to come over and check it out. Oh, another thing that's going to happen real fast, you notice it sets up real high in the back. Well, back in the 80s or something, I don't know if it was the drugs or the drinking or whatever, but they like to jack the cars up where they sit real high in the back. Maybe it was the music, I don't know, but I'm going to lower these shackles back down to where the rear end sits like it's supposed to, because it sets up too high in the back. Oh yeah, and then it's got an Oldsmobile wheel on it, which there's the factory one. So maybe that's something. This car's, I think it's been hit right here because there's been some work on that quarter. So I'm going to find out, but I think I'm going to run down and switch the tires and put the factory wheel back on it. But definitely got to find out if this thing is going to run. And if look up and make sure the lights work. Yeah, I just thought about this. We can see if the lights burn on it. So we'll hook the little jump box up here. And then you want to trace down. That'll be the hot cable. Pretty sure. And then this would be the ground. Here, so ground it. Either something will happen or it'll catch on fire, one of the two.
Be a fun little test.
Alright, let me hit the headlight switch. Nothing? Wonder if that ground's even hooked up at me.
Oh, because they were going through the hole.
Yeah.
Maybe they pulled it.
Well, it's supposed to go through the, yeah, it's not touching nothing. What about now? Nothing?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, because the battery cable's there's no starter on it. So, yeah, we can't do that until I get the damn starter on it.
Gotcha. Huh, let's check.
Yeah. I forgot about the damn starter. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wind up this little episode of Corey's Garage. I feel bad. The poor Scout, it can't win, man. Like, every time I get on it, something else. I told myself I wasn't going to do this, but, I mean, how can you not, dude? This car is so freaking cool. It's a Survivor. You know, as I've been messing with it, I'm curious to find out what's wrong with the engine in this. So I think I'm going to kind of undo what was done, put everything back on it just to make it where it'll start. Try to see if the lights work, see if most of the wiring works, and then go from there and find out what I want to do to it. Like, what engine do I want to put in it? If I have to even put an engine in it. Do I do the LS route? Do I do a small block Chevy? I've got to do some figuring. You know, I'm going to do like what it's going to cost to put a new 350 versus to go get a 5.3 out of a Tahoe or something, and then go that route and try to do it right, you know. I'm not for sure if the truck manifold and the truck accessories will clear that hood because these have that slope, and like there's nothing going to change on this car aesthetically and on the body. Like, that would be awesome to be able to put the 60 and the 5.3 in it and make like a 80, 90 mile an hour down the highway cruiser and everything. And then I'd like to restore these wheels and put some radial TAs on them, some 255s. But yeah, the next move is my wife's gonna get that interior cleaned up, and then I think I can just take those shackles and flip them, and the height will go back down, and I can cut them off, and then just start bolting the engine back together and clean it up and see if I can get it to try to start. Or I mean, even if it starts, if they've ran it out of oil, it's gonna knock, probably not have any oil pressure. So I'll be able to do some kind of, you know, idea of what's actually wrong with it. But yeah, that's going to be all I've got. I got to get to work and get the work weekend started. So yeah, if you guys like it, tell me what you think you would do. I hope you guys are as happy with it as I am, because I mean, and really I'm so stoked, man, because I've been looking at these things, man. Clean cars, original, $15,000 to $20,000, and then the nice ones are even more than that. And yes, everybody, oh, they didn't have no horsepower. Dude, it's an engine swap away from being an absolute killer on the road, man. Like, the sky's the limit. You got the best handling characteristics of any of them, and the looks are just by far the best, man. I love these cars. So if you guys like it, hit that subscribe, and we'll move on to the next step and find out what's really wrong with this car.